Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Margarita from the Centro Colombo Americano. Today, we're speaking with Ana María Lozano Fernandez, a Colombian visual artist and designer. She studied visual arts with a minor in plastic and graphic arts at Javeriana University in Bogota. And she also holds a master's degree in editorial design from, I'm going to ask you here, Ana, with a little bit of help on how to pronounce the name of
Yes,
the university.
ESAM,
Mhm.
only ESAM, as it's called. It's a school of visual arts from Caen in France.
Thank you. Ana Maria's work spans graphic design, illustration, and editorial design. Her projects have been featured in local publications like Cardumen, Gráficas Molinari, Salvaje, Casa Futura, Colmillo, and La Bruja, as well as in international independent publishing houses such as Cancan Press and Calypso Press. For the past 8 years, she's worked as a freelance designer, collaborating with music labels, festivals, design fairs, and publishers. In 2021, she founded Palm Press, a publishing house dedicated to minimal comics, where she now collaborates with authors from Colombia and the whole world. So thank you so much, Anna, for joining us today. How are you?
Thank you, Marga. Good. Thanks. And you?
I'm fine, thank you. So I want to start with the very beginning. Could you talk a little bit about your artistic journey? How did you move from visual arts into editorial design?
Yes, so I studied in the university in Havana, as you know, because you studied with me. And we went to a school that was really focused in art and drawing and sort of images that were static, but I wasn't interested as much in that. Um, but when I finished school, I started working at design studios and publicity agencies. But in fact, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my degree. So I started gradually doing fanzines in my own. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't something that it was taught to us in school, I think, but I went to art fairs and always was really admiring what people did all the time. And so I felt like I can do this and I could put my artwork into um, publication and then just do it myself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I started to do that, and then I found that it was really easy to connect with the public through my artwork and other stuff that I could convey into a publication. And so I just organically changed into that medium.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started looking um, for a master's degree, in fact, of editorial design, because I was really interested in how books can be a vehicle to democratize, I don't know, images,
Mm-hmm.
um, to do that sort of thing. So I already knew French. Like French was a language that I was learning, and
Mm-hmm.
then I thought that it would be really nice to find a school who teach editorial design, but that could also be taught in French because I wanted to improve the language. And so I found it in Caen, that is a really small city in France, in the north of France, in Normandy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went there and I stood there 2 years. And in fact, it was really nice to see that hint that I thought that I was good at, I don't know, the editorial design, because I was wondering if that would be my thing. In fact, it was. And so I started to develop thesis around books with only images, and that was when I started my publishing house that is called Pan Press. That was like my uh, degree project, my
Mm-hmm.
yeah, my school degree project, and then it became like a life project that I then continue until today.
That's awesome. And so Palm Press was your thesis in
Yeah.
France,
Hmm.
and this project has been growing so much, and you've been collaborating with a lot of different artists and illustrators, right?
Yes. The thing was that I would always have worked by myself and for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're an artist, you tend to like encapsulate yourself and stop talking to others, and in fact just working to an objective. But I know that the center of your world is your art. And then when I moved to France, the I don't know, it happened that a really nice thing within the master was that everyone helped everyone,
Mm-hmm.
like no matter if they were from another country or they came from a different place. It was just like um I don't know, a good ambiance. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how do you say that in English, like a good environment in which you could like become stronger through collaboration or through collective. Like we
Mm-hmm.
always did collective projects like fanzines, but it was always in group. Like I thought that there I could there was a place where I thought that by publishing others I could become like a bigger self, like
Mm-hmm.
extend my creativity through other content, not only mine, but also like have to have a platform to showcase other authors and other artists or architects or creative people through publications. That was a thing that could like full my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And or, yeah, like it was a dream that I hadn't had before, but now it's really important, like the collective part of design and artwork. So I followed that path, and it led to this publishing house that is really small, in fact. But as you said, it has been growing for the last 5 years. I have
Yeah.
done it, and I started like publishing 100. I don't know if you want to show the Palm Press page. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the 100 fanzines at the beginning, and now I print like 500, 300.
Wow.
So that alone is just like amazing. But also I have been able to collaborate with people from France, from Colombia, from Greece, Spain, yeah, so all around the world, because it's, I don't know, we haven't told about it, we haven't speak about it, but I think Palpress has a singularity that it's minimal comic publishing house. So
Mm-hmm.
minimal comics are the type of narrative that don't have text. They only have images, but they convey a narration. So it's like kind of an artist book, but
Mm-hmm.
also a comic book. So I don't have to pass like for I don't have to translate a text or a comic because it can be read everywhere. So
Yeah.
that's like the premise that is the foundation of my publishing house. And so I can collaborate with people from all around, but also I can, I don't know, these books can be read by everyone in the world,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So that is the milestone. Like the thing that was also pushing me to build this publishing house was that French obviously is not my mother language, my mother
Mm-hmm.
tongue. And I needed something that could connect me and other people who didn't speak
Mm-hmm.
Spanish,
Yes.
through artwork. So it was really nice to find that this type of book can be made, and it can be like sold and passed
Everywhere.
around. Yeah, and can be read by many people.
And I mean that's a very, I think, intelligent point, because you have, I mean, a great a big variety of people can
Participate, yeah.
guess, and they can relate to your body of work. How has it been collaborating with authors from different countries? Like, how do you approach them? Are they mostly friends, or how does it work?
Okay, so that's a good question because when I started, because I was living in France, I thought that like it would be easier to ask people who was already like there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the first people that I published was a girl from my master's degree, Manu. I
Okay.
thought that you have spoken to her already, but yeah, she was one of the first authors, but also people that I didn't know who were Spanish. So what I started to do because I didn't knew them was I went to I don't know, my Instagram, and I just asked them like really politely if they wanted to collaborate with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them like this is the concept, this is there are some parameters because I didn't had like many, I don't know, tools to print in that time. I just
Yes.
had like the Riso printer that was in my school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to do fanzines. So it was like fanzines from, I don't know, maximum 24 pages that
Mm-hmm.
couldn't be larger than an A3, I think. So yeah, everyone who I asked if they wanted to collaborate, they said yes. That was
Great.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But also it was like a challenge to work distance because it was
Yeah.
also the time of the COVID, you know.
Oh, okay.
And so we couldn't see each other, but in a way I started like to learn how to work with others, how to manage the arguments that some people do are really close to their hearts. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to yeah, you have to be really careful of the things that you
Feedback.
say about them,
Yes.
how you do the editing, like mm, yeah, and how much do you put into it, you know, like your personal brand. Me personally, I just let the authors decide the subject of their comic. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
like really huge on putting like my hand down and saying like this is gonna be about
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, palm trees. No, but I think that the most important thing in palm press is that they know that it's a narrative objective. I don't know, like many people want like send me messages to publish their drawings, but they don't necessarily have a story to tell, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important to me that they have like a background in that, like they have some experience doing, I don't know, comics or some kind of visual poetry.
Mm-hmm.
And then the authors, they bring like different things to the table. So many are experts like in printing or other techniques like painting, engraving, you know. So I tend to like play to the advantages of the author
Mm-hmm.
and then just like adapt their artwork to the editorial line that we have in the publishing house.
And with printing, you mentioned you started printing with exclusively Riso, and then you've moved
Yeah.
to other printing techniques.
Yeah, because in that time, like 100, 100 prints, it was easy to make with a Riso printer.
Mm-hmm.
But when I moved back to Colombia, that was in 2021, I wanted to do the same, but I didn't have the Riso printer for free
Oh, okay.
here. So I wanted to do more copies because one of the things I didn't tell you is that I give some of the copies to the authors, and
Uh-huh.
that is like a sort of payment, you know. So they became
Yes.
like a second line of distribution. So
Mm-hmm.
they have their own, yeah, their own fanzines that they can move and they can sell in fairs or to directly to their followers. I don't know. And so when you take the 35% of 100, you don't get a lot of fanzines, you know. So when I
Yes.
was here in Colombia, I it was the time where they were opening more stuff and I don't know, many of the publishing fairs were starting again. So I thought to myself like, okay, I have like 60 copies of each thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they went like really fast. So I put them in libraries, in small art shops, I don't know. And then all of the sudden mm, I had in a catalog, you know.
Yeah.
I yeah, I was lacking like copy, so I said, okay, the next collaboration I need to print a lot more.
Yeah.
And so with the Riso printer, it was not as cheap as to have like an offset project printed like in the, I
Okay.
don't know, yeah, digital printer or offset. That is the technique that I use now to print almost every book that I have.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also depending on the technique that the author wants, you know,
Okay.
because there are some people that work in I don't know, like Alice, the one that you're showing right now.
Uh,
She works with pencils and then watercolors, so that translate really good with the result printed.
mm,
But I don't know if it would be the same if we printed it in laser, you know.
yeah.
And so each fanzine has its challenges, and also the technical choices that we make um, really affect the object that the reader sees at the end.
And for example, regarding the because every artist or illustrator, they send you like this sketch and you review it together, and then do you do all the design of the book, or they have a like a saying in that?
Yes, so we have
Approaches.
different, yeah, approaches and ways of work,
Mm-hmm.
because the workflow is not the same every time. So there's people who already know, like, I want to do my narrative about games, I don't know. And so they have already like a storyboard where they have like the pages and they just send it to me like a sketch, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I know like a bit of the story and how it's gonna develop and the ending and the beginning, and that's it. And so I only do like the job of an art director.
Uh-huh.
Like I do, I don't know, changes of how this could be better conveying of the narrative because of the colors, or the binding that we use for the book or the cover, you know. But other times there are some authors that like to do like a ping pong. I don't know how to say it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like a ping pong where they send some, I don't know, some sketches, and then I return like with some adjustments, or yeah, some feedback that they can use to develop on one time another, again and again, their narrative. And some people want really like to collaborate in a way that I'm invested too in that narrative. So for people that haven't made this kind of book, is like this
Mm-hmm.
case where we begin from even a text, you know.
Oh,
Like
okay.
we do sometimes exercises of creative writing, where the author just makes a poem and then we turn the poem into images, and then these images like have a narrative sense or a poetic sense, and we can like organize them to fit like a double page and then a book, you know. um but yeah, it's depending of the person, depending of their experience,
Mm.
if they feel like really um natural, or they have like really interiorized the minimal comic, they're like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna send you like 2 times and then we're good. Or really they're like beginners in it, so
Mm-hmm.
they need like more advice and more of a helping hand with each step of the process.
And I know it depends on every project, but maybe how long can this whole process take?
Well, it's weird because yeah, it really depends on the person, because sometimes I ask, I don't know, somebody for a collaboration, like I propose them to do a book and they
Mm-hmm.
have it like in 2 months, you know, they're like Speedy Gonzalez. I don't know, super fast. But other people, they really take their time developing the idea. Like the concept is the really hard part for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there has been books where we have been like thinking about them, talking about them between 2 and 4 years. You know, there
Oh.
are books that were proposed since the beginning of the project, and they have been like developing, but they're not yet there, you know, they're not
Okay.
printed, they're not like in a material form already in the world. But I would say that a book is always gonna like materialize in the time that it has to be, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
you cannot force this type of process.
Yeah.
And it's also the nature of the book to take time. So yeah, maybe some people that are really fast can take months, but sometimes years. Yeah, it really depends on the idea, if it has been like done or not. So yeah, depends in on the person really.
What would you say are some challenges or advantages that you find in working independently as a designer?
Well, yeah, as a designer you can, I think that for once, like put yourself first. I don't know how to say it, but yeah, like in the rates that you're asking for, you can like be your own boss and just like put boundaries, because I think that in our work we sometimes just accept what everyone would give you, but it's not right, like it's not the really the thing that we would
Mm.
need or we would like to receive in change of our work. But sometimes if you freelance, I don't know, if you have really good like contacts and work and stuff, you can have the like the luxury to say no to clients
Mm-hmm.
if they don't meet your boundaries, or make time for your own, because many people said that yeah, freelance can be like self-exploding. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that also you can find the balance between your work life and your social life, and also do what you like. And at the end it's just like that, like I don't know if every freelance designer is doing what necessarily they want, but I think that you obviously have more time for personal projects. That I think that is really important to me. Like I can do things by to, I don't know, for big clients, but I also have projects that I find dear to my heart and that I can put time into them. And so I think it's like a mix of those things, like having time and also having boundaries and saying no to things. Yeah.
Yeah, and something that I went to because when you did your masters in France, that's when you like everything started. You started working, of course, on Palm Press, and everything started going for you and for Palm Press, but also because you are a very organized person and you're very disciplined, and I think it, and of course, very talented, but I think it goes a long way and it shows a lot in the amount of work that you've put in and the amount of project that you've done because it's, I mean, it's really, really incredible.
Thank you for the flowers, Marco.
No,
Yeah, I'll take the
honestly, honestly.
flowers. I'll take it. But yeah, thanks. I think that yeah, I didn't mention that being a successful freelance designer, it comes of course with with the discipline, because nobody's gonna tell you like you have to do this, you have to work, you have to organize your schedules.
Hmm.
Be your own boss is not only like being in charge of your life, but also like doing the things that you don't necessarily want to do, but you have to.
Hmm.
Like you have to be your own administrator, your own a community manager, your own PR, you know,
Yeah.
like every work in an agency, you have to do it by your own. So it's really like that, like being really disciplined and organized, as you had said.
Are there maybe any artists, writers, or designers who particularly influence your work right now, or like some big influences?
My personal work or Panpress, because they're both, like they are both of
Both.
them. So Panpress is really based on a style that is developing or was developing in 2010 between Europe and the States, you know? So many of people were working on this, that it doesn't have a name, but I name it Minimal Comics. So one person that I really love and has been doing this forever is called Maria Medem. She's Spanish and she's an illustrator that is really successful, and I love everything that she does. Um, Juichi Yokohama, it's a Japanese author also. He comes from the school of manga, but he's like really futuristic in his comics, so also really good. Um, George Wilesel, it's a British comic. Uh, yeah, an artist from there, from England, and I love what he does. It's like his narratives are most about new technology and the end of the world and video games. So I love that. And other publishing houses that work only exclusively like in this type of publications are Fosfatina in Spain and also Edition Matière in France. So there has been like this between 2010 and 2025, but I really studied that when I was in France. So I have like these references really like in my mind every time that I explain the project. And then from my personal work, I would say David Hockney. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it for me, it's just like the spaces and the landscape of tropical places, and then holidays and vacations is really important for me and for my artwork. So he's a really big reference to me. And then Hiroshi Nagai, also the same subject but Japanese. So he has been doing for a long time like also landscapes and architecture, and also artwork for artists in music. So really love him too.
Thank you, Anna. And how do you see the role of independent publishing evolving?
Here
I
in
don't know.
Colombia,
Yeah, and Latin America.
well, I think that from a few years from now, like 5 years, I don't know, yeah, after the pandemic, it was really, I think that it was not as big as now. I think that there were some publishing houses that were massive, that are actually like really massive here, but the independent environment has been, and the panorama has been expanding like really fast.
Mhm.
And I have noticed that more and more people are founding their own publishing houses and they're doing their own fanzines. Many of the students of visual arts here in Bogota and other cities are founding collectives for publishing, and then just like founding groups and collectives that they can distribute their fanzines with. So I've been noticing that it has been really growing, and it has like a vibrant energy. I think that, yeah, most of the things that I see during the fairs, like the small fairs, art fairs, and also um, book fairs, it has been that it has uh, a lot more territory in the experimentation field, more images. I think experimenting also with the medium, different types of printing like riso printing, screen printing. um yeah, I think that people are not afraid like to do different things, experiment with this medium. And so it's a really exciting time to have a publishing house. It's a really small publishing house here in Colombia, but also to see that it has been like a time from now that it has grown and it has an impact also in new generations, you know.
Mm-hmm. Is there maybe like a dream project or collaboration that you'd love to pursue in the near future?
Yeah, I think personally I am really into sports now,
Uh-huh.
and I would love to do like a grand slam, but that's like the biggest kind of ever that I would have. But I think that really like doing the branding or the graphic identity for a tournament like the US Open or Australian Open or any Grand Slam, that would be like my dream.
That
And
would be
for Pan
awesome.
Press, yeah, and for Pan Press, I think that just like not an author that would like to collaborate, but I think that we're headed into bigger projects in the terms that we're having like bigger books, hardcover books, you know, and this year
Mm,
is the first time that I'm going to have an anthology, so
mm-hmm.
many authors in the same book. And I would love to go to fairs in other countries. I have done that, but only in Europe. But I would love to go to Asia and see what people think about it, like Singapore Book Art Fair or in Japan, South Korea. I just have been hearing a lot of good things about that. So I would love to have like a little trip with the publishing house and do fairs, and publishing fairs in Asia.
That
But
would
that's
be
like the
awesome.
dream.
I volunteer to help on that trip.
Yeah. Thank you.
And yeah, you mentioned the hard books.
Mhm.
Um, could you talk a little bit about how was this process and maybe why did you guys lean for this kind of book? Is the first one you made?
Yeah, this Earthworm is the first one that we published. This is by Manuel Hernandez, that is a painter from Colombia, but he lives now in Greece. And so it was a narration that is the largest one that we have published. Is 64 pages. We started like in 40 pages, but it got longer and longer because it was a project that took a lot of time. As I told you, it's like I think this one was 2 years in the making. And
Okay.
so Manuel, he paints by hand and it's acrylic over canvas. So every piece that you see is just painted and then scanned to do the book. So it was really, and it took time for him like
Yeah.
to do every piece. And then we thought like this work is so amazing and it deserves the hardcover, it's like a different edition is maybe like a little different from the others that we have published because it's not a fanzine, it's another type of book, it's like an artist book.
Mm-hmm.
But also but also we thought like because of the length of the pages we could have like a binding, a different binding, and also like could survive in libraries because you know that the only part of the book that you see in libraries is the spine.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I wanted to have that. I wanted to have the title and that people would be able to see it like horizontally and not necessarily like only the cover. So we decided to do that, and it was a really nice change. Like I thought that the publishing house went a step forward and just didn't, I don't know, stood like a small project, a fanzine project, because we only did that for many years.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the possibility to do long narratives like this one and only images because yeah, it's a different thing. I think that it was like a big step, but I wanted to do so a long time ago, and it was with this book that we took this step.
I love this one. I have it right here.
Thank you. We love it.
And okay, let's show your page. How has it maybe helped to, well, of course, to sell or to get to know more people?
The website you said?
Yes, the website.
Okay. Well, the website, it has been just a year that
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that I have the website. Here in Colombia, it's different because people love to see the things, like the objects, in real
Yes.
life. So not many people shop online, but I think that it's a really good platform to have the work and just people to know that they can have a book and yeah, we can send them to every part of Colombia, not necessarily like just in Bogota, because there are many people that want to have the catalog of the publishing house and also other brands, because many friends have told us like, okay, we want to sell online, but we don't know how. So we also have other brands. That's why it's called Palm Press and Friends, not only
Mm-hmm.
Palm Press. Um, and it has been nice like to be able like to professionalize a little bit like that kind of branch, commercial brand of the of the project. So it's nice. We don't ship worldwide yet because
Hmm.
it's a little tricky for the books and from Colombia and it's really expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also a step that we need to do. But it has been really nice, and I love that it's also another, yeah, another way to connect with people through the internet.
And maybe is there any advice or anything that you can tell to aspiring designers and artists that might want to publish?
Yes, sure. I would say that the best advice that I could give you is just that don't wait others to publish you. Do
Hmm.
it yourself and do it with others. I think that those two concepts, like that, do it yourself and do it with others, is the best thing that I was taught in school. And because one, you can do everything that you want to do by yourself, like you don't have to wait for a publishing house to tell you like, yes, we love your work, we will publish you. If that happens, great. But if not, you can do it by yourself, and that would create like a bigger, I don't know, it's really satisfying to do the things that you want to do from your heart and from your own hands into an object or a book or a publishing or publication. So that in one hand, and in the other, it's like talk to your group of friends. Obviously, you when you're a designer or an editorial designer, you don't do the things alone. You know, you have always like friends who can support you in many ways. So by finding your crew or your tribe, you can like find help and do projects with others that would become obviously bigger, and to collaborate with other people can open a lot of doors.
Thank you so much, Anna, for sharing your time, your insights, and your creative journey with us today. It's been a real pleasure to have you here and to be able to talk about your work and for sharing your vision behind Palm Press as well. We are very excited to see what you create next and how Palm Press continues to grow, of course. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be sharing Anna's socials on the comments. So be sure to check them out and follow along.
Thank you so much.
Until next time, thank you.